Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have to start off by just saying, oh my gosh, it has been a long time since I've made a video. I mentioned in one of my last videos that I had to get surgery. I was sick, had to get kind of emergency surgery or like fairly soon. I had like a 2-week window, so maybe it's not so much emergency, but not really a lot of time to prepare. And so I did my recovery, and then I came back and did some videos. And meanwhile, during one of my follow-ups, I'm pretty sure I caught COVID there at the doctor's office. So womp womp, it's super contagious. What do you do? So that literally put me down for a nice long time. So as you can see, I'm nice and recovered. I'm feeling better. I'm happy to be happy and healthy again, and moving forward, and just back on the road to health and back on the road to gardening. So I'm so excited. But as you can see, possibly see in the background, which you'll get a better look, unfortunately, in a second, that my garden has obviously taken a big hit. This is really good compared to the way it was, and my husband admonished me, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I had like a massive overgrowth, like tundra of is that tundra? Tundra's like frozen, right? It's not like anyway, it was like a jungle, like, but a dying off jungle, because there were times where the water would get low, and God bless him, he'd come in and fill it up and to see what we could salvage. I was still able to get to a lot of tomatoes. As you can see, that I still was pulling the last bits off as I was digging stuff out. I had a lot more. If you look at my Instagram channel, you'll see I had like a bowl of tomatoes. I had a bowl of jalapeno peppers. My snackable peppers I never got a chance to let them take off. So, I'll try that again. Peppers, bell peppers, and even jalapenos take forever, just so you know. It can be very frustrating. So anywho, I'm gonna show you what I should have shown you in the beginning, like how dense the roots are, how big this thing is, and how much things grow. And then we're gonna get into a deep clean. I feel like I've been talking about this clean since I got the unit. So it's definitely time for me to do a cleaning. I'm gonna walk you through that. I believe it's very simple, just from what I've read. Only things you really need is some white vinegar, which a lot of people know it's a natural disinfectant. Definitely gonna need some scissors to cut these big roots. And I don't even know, you can see all my dentures here. I don't even know if I'm gonna need this. I don't think my hoses are very dirty, but just for GP, I'm gonna clean them anyway, just to get them, some of the grime out and some of the grunge or what have you, and do that. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started on cleaning this guy out. All right, so I'm gonna start off by putting a trash bag there, just because I have a wood floor, and I assume if anybody has carpeting, you just kind of want to protect it. And then you've got all this junk that's gonna have to come out. So as I mentioned, I've already started cleaning things out, and I'm just gonna let that sit there. This guy here is my Genovese basil, and yeah, it's pretty bad. You can see this basil, and that's why I say to get a pair of scissors. You can see these poor roots, man. They're just not good. So yeah, so I thought about keeping some of them, but this guy, the roots just don't look very happy. Whatever. And I just broke up a massive chunk of it. It probably could have survived, but I'm just not feeling very confident. So basically, if you can save these pods, I would do so. I keep pods, net cups. Remember from the last video, they're net cups. Don't listen to what I'm saying. They're net cups, not pods. So yeah, so obviously you'll keep all the cool little gadgets that work for you. Maybe I'll put them here. Still even have little tomatoes still growing. Look at that. Even in the worst of situations, they're just falling off. Still tomatoes producing. Not much, but it's still, it just makes me laugh a bit. So let's see. Now this is going to be very challenging. So what I'm gonna do is, as painful as this is, I'm just gonna, because I'm not keeping it, just gonna hack away. I'll get those tomatoes later, because they are perfectly fine. So you just want to hack away at the everything, because it makes it a lot easier to remove. This is the big guy. Ooh, look at that. Yep. I grabbed some of those tomatoes off there.
Smell it.
Yeah, it smells so good. Get all this junk out here. Alrighty. So before I go any further, I'm going to turn off the water pump. That's going to be one of the most important things, because as you start to dismantle this, you don't want the water flowing, and as you empty it, you will ruin your pump if you don't have enough water in there. So I'm going to turn off the pump, and that's right under here. Luckily, it says it right here, pump, because it's been a while since I've done this. I totally forgot. So I'm unplugging it, and as you can see, what's going to happen is all that water is going to start flowing out from this top one and from the lower shelf down into the water. You see my water basin, my reservoir will start filling up. Great. So I'm just going to move all of this stuff. Take all of my, the covers here. And one little thing that I like to do is like get a little Tupperware or something, or a bowl or what have you, put it in here, because you're going to want to soak these in vinegar as well, vinegar and water, and get that nice and clean. Or if you have one of the older ones, you could probably clean them in this too, the old nursery clamshell. I know a lot of people are disappointed about that, so hopefully, I don't know, maybe Rise will get some bigger nurseries. We'll see. Although I like the cute little one myself. So the easiest way to do this is to literally, to cut as much as you can, as you saw that I did, and to literally lift this guy up. Oh my. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. This is, and now this isn't all the tomato. It's a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. But some of the other plants too just got balled up in here. So I'm just gonna get to hacking. I saved it. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, it takes some work and a little bit of elbow grease and clipping, but if you can save these are great. Just keep them so you don't have to worry about either getting more or just, polluting the planet with more plastic. So these are pretty easy to get out. Again, you just got to use a little elbow grease and some cutting, and you get it. Okay, one little quick thing I wanted to point out. I know some of the people from the Facebook group don't have this sponge here. Somebody mentioned that it may have been a sound dampener or something. Some of the older people who had, I want to say maybe the prototype or one of the older ones, sorry, I can't get that root off, did not have this. So, I can't remember what tech support told me about it, but I found it great because and I believe that this is it, that when I was pulling the tomato roots out, they were sticking into here. They came out nice and easily for the most part. As you can see, they're all out, but I think it helps it from going down into the tubes. That's an issue that happens sometimes where the roots can start growing down into the tubes. So, or the hoses or whatever you want to call them, pipes, that you want to prevent that from happening because it can clog things. Anywho, but you can see, look at this. This is like spaghetti. Massive, massive roots all the way through here. And I'm just going to cut it back just because it's so much. Ugh. Look at that. And now you will have a little bit of water left over because it's just, you know, I'll just make sure it goes down into the reservoir. But this is crazy. Oh my gosh. So we don't usually get to see this. Ooh, I'm going to do this. That makes sense. We don't usually get to see this because it's in the ground, but this is so cool. Now, one thing I do want to point out, you can see this residue here. It kind of feels like sand. This is the buildup of the nutrients. And when I mentioned earlier about the nutrients, I talked about how if you read the directions or read your manual, that when you're adding nutrients, that you want to wait 5 minutes before adding the next one. So if you're adding Sprout and then adding Thrive, you want to wait 5 minutes in between each, because when they when you pour them in all together, there's a chemical term that I cannot remember, but they bind together, and that could actually cause a nutrient lockout. Because if the nutrients are bound together, they're not able to do the job that they need to do because they're binding together and not releasing and getting into the roots. Anywho, this is Mr. Turtle. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that. It just literally, these roots look pretty good actually. I'm actually surprised at how good they look for sitting in here for so long. Oh my gosh, and it was just the basil that didn't look too hot. So I'm actually pretty excited that I'm seeing this because I've always wondered about algae, and I think I've had people ask questions about controlling you know, the bad algae growing in here that, you know, causes root rot or what have you. But this is pretty cool. These roots are great. Here's a root. I thought it was just one little chunk, and it's a root like that guy. Oh wow, look at how long that is. Yeah. So you will have roots that end up going down those pipes and hoses. At this point, all you really need to do is just add about 2 cups of white vinegar. Let it cycle through your family rise for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and then drain all the water out. Now, a sponge or a rag is going to work much better than what I used, so don't use a dough cutter. It worked, but you know, I don't want to scratch my surface. I just picked up the first thing I could find. Drain as much water out of the trays as you can before you try to lift it, because they can be pretty heavy. Once you've done all that, empty out the reservoir and add fresh water. But I am going to go a little further and clean out my hoses and the pipes and everything just to give it a deeper clean. You do not have to do that, but that is just my preference, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that in the next video. All right, guys, I hope that video was helpful to you with the dismantling of the 2-story family rise garden. I'm going to get all this stuff together, and then I'm going to make this the next video a part 2 where I get into the deep cleaning and then we reassemble it, because that was a lot of information and a lot of pieces that we kind of went through. So I try to make these videos a little bit more bite-sized and not so long, so you can just kind of get in and out and do what we need to do. Again, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything, go ahead and put them down in the comment section. Thank you guys for those of you who are telling me that these videos are helpful, and that many of you actually have been buying a rise garden. So that's great, and I'm so happy to hear that. I love rise gardens a lot, so I'm so glad to get another group of followers with me, rise garden fan folks. Don't forget to keep an eye out for video part 2 where I put everything back together, and we'll see you on the next one. Here's wishing you great eats and happy gardening, and remember, always be kind to one another. Take care.